Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Cryptid Crunch. We have Keisha waiting in the backstage, so let's get this party started because we have to talk to Keisha. All right, so we all know that we have there are cults out there that believe that aliens will come and get them, but we're not gonna we're gonna touch on a little bit on the alien cults. We have to touch on a vampire cult. Hi. How's it going?
You know what? Surprisingly, ish.
Yeah. How's the babies?
Good. One is downstairs taking a nap. The older one is the one taking the nap. A very late nap, so who knows what's gonna go on tonight? But they're doing good.
I should actually say how is the whole family doing?
You know what? We're good. I did lose most of my chickens.
Oh no.
So we had something break into our barn the last couple nights and kill off like almost all of our chickens. So we only have 8 chickens, 7 ducks, 3 turkeys, and the 3 goats now.
Oh,
at least
I'm so sorry.
And the quail, like there's a bajillion quail.
Yeah. Oh.
But yesterday we caught a skunk, a possum, and a raccoon, none of which did the damage of killing the other animals, so we think it's a fox or something of that caliber. It's bigger.
Oh. Well, hopefully you guys get it under control soon.
I hope so.
You guys need your eggs and your birds.
I mean, I still have a bunch of quail. But the eggs from quail are only this big.
Yeah. Now, here's the question: like, do you eat the quail eggs, or do you sell them at markets?
I sell them to people, and I eat them.
Okay. How are they like compared to like? I know they're small, but are they better than chicken eggs? Or
I actually prefer them over chicken eggs.
Okay.
Pretty know me.
Because we sell them at my store. Like I work at a pet store, and we do sell the quail eggs in my store, and we obviously feed it's for animals. But I've been curious about trying it myself, and
I say do it. They're actually my favorite.
Okay.
So
good to know.
Ooh. I turned off the TV in the background and everything
everything went dark.
There we go.
So how was your 4th of July?
Good. We only set one child on fire. It was my own, so it's okay. It's a little bit of flash burn, not actually set her on fire.
Oh no. You're not supposed to do that.
Carl in the comments. You set your kid on fire? No, the fireworks did. Duh. Oops.
Child Family Services, it's okay. Everything is fine.
We're good.
No need for a checkup.
Yeah. One of the, like, we were setting off some backyard fireworks over at a friend's house, and one of the fireworks went out instead of up.
Oops.
Yeah. The actual firework did not hit her. She just got a little bit of she was too close. Which, of course, she was the furthest one away because I was being cautious, and I was like, Dolores, you have to stay behind the trampoline so that you don't get hit by fireworks. And of course, that's exactly where the fireworks went.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
So she's never taken my advice again. Oh, we also got backed into on the 4th of July, so that was fun.
Oh, that sucks.
We were in the Casey's parking lot. We were parked at a pump, and somebody backed into our car. And then they tried to blame us for it, so, there's that. I was like, we were parked at the pump. What do you want from me? And she was like, you were driving. I was like, I don't drive.
So I feel bad for saying this, but as a female, but why am I not surprised it was a female that did it?
She was actually somebody that we knew. So I was like, happy 4th. Bye. To put further context on that, she works at the Casey's and she makes our pizza, and I'm not willing to give up pizza.
Oh my God.
So
that makes it worse.
I know.
She tried. Oh my God. Like, I'm sorry that I would have totally reported her to the company and be like, she blamed us for backing into our car.
but she makes really good pizza. So, like,
it's still terrible customer service. You should get a gift card for that.
She's good at pizza. She's not good at driving, okay?
Clearly. She owes you a gift card. Or a free pizza.
You know what? Next time I go in there, I'm gonna be like, so you got this for me?
Oh. Yeah, no, some days I can turn into a very bad Karen when it comes to customer service. But yeah, I would not let that slide.
I am the most passive aggressive person on the planet. I will be nice to you to the point of death. Like, I will kill you with kindness. And I try really hard with some people. It just doesn't work. Yeah. It just annoys them more than anything, I think.
Some people just deserve a high five in the face with a chair.
Agreed. So how have you been?
Good. We had a very good Canada Day. Unfortunately, it was raining, so we didn't get a chance to do the firework thing. So nothing went up in flames.
No, my cousin sent me, apparently, do y'all do this? Like, is this for real? You have to tell me. So, since it was too bad to do fireworks, there was people yeeting cars off a cliff. In Canada, my cousin sent me a picture. Since we can't do fireworks, we're yeeting cars. And they were literally yeeting cars off the side of a cliff, and it was just going into a ravine. And I was what?
I'm gonna have to look this up because that didn't happen here.
I'll send you the
in Manitoba, we don't have cliffs.
I will send you the link that she sent me because I was like, what are they doing up in Canada?
We have, oddly enough, we do have our own version of rednecks here. We call them trailer trash.
We also call them that here as well. I used to be one, like I'm still not.
Okay, I laugh because yes, I used to live in a trailer, and I did date my next door neighbor in the trailer park.
I did wake up one morning pretty trashed in the front of a trailer. Yeah, that was fun.
I love Don Dula's thing. Yes, we should call them snowbillies.
Oh, just a forewarning, I can't see anybody's comments. First of all, I don't have my glasses on and I'm blind as a bat. Second of all, I am on my phone tonight because so my computer is on the fritz. So
yeah. So yes, we do have some comments, and I am so glad to be greeted by my longtime troll, son of Derek, or he's a long lost fan of mine from couple years ago that he pops up every few times to remind me how annoying he can be. I unfortunately had to tell them I was not interested in dating him when he sent me messages at 3 a.m. in the morning, having a nice conversation with himself. So, Dewick, that's his name. Son of Dewick. He is Mennonite. So, son of Dewick, again, still not interested, still very much married, and I hope you have a great life.
Willow, maybe we should join a Willow cult. We should make a Willow cult. Cult of the
all Willow. About aliens. Yeah, please join my cult where we sleep with nobody but our significant others.
Wait, Willow, this cult has to have some serious background here. So we got to make some rules for this, okay? Everybody that is in the Willow cult must monetize our videos with real money. Send it to the Cryptid Crunch back of the cereal box. I'm pretty sure we have a link somewhere.
I'm pretty sure we do. Patreon.com/cerealboxpodcast.
Now just donate to that and say it's for the Cult of Willow.
$5 will get me a cup of coffee every day.
We do like coffee. However, the prices of coffee are up, so please, like, 10. Because, like, I got a coffee, and it was awful. It was subpar. $7.
I do like my Starbucks coffee still.
That's why it was $7.
Yeah.
So, $10 or more, please.
So, some addictions are hard to get rid of.
It's true.
So, good evening, Carl Witzman. Thank you for joining us. Good evening, Willow and friends. Dan Hollyfield, good evening. Donna Carleen is in the chat as well. And here. There. Hey, Willow. But yeah, I did pop in to the chat and I said, good evening. So glad to have all of you in the chat, including the jerk who I was completely honest with about being married and told I wasn't interested in. So yes. I love how he reminds me constantly that, you know, I'm still not interested.
I've had to change my number a couple times. Bruce told me I'm not allowed to be in any more cults.
Oh no! So, okay, yes, let's get right into that. This vampire cult that you referenced a couple times. What was it, and how did you manage to find out to join?
I wish I wasn't using my phone. Oh, no. I still have a proper website for it. If you guys ever want to check it out, don't. No, I'm kidding. So I found it through a website called Vampire Freaks, I believe.
Okay.
.com. So my name on there was DWEEDS. Um, and I still have a proper website up there as far as I know, because I do not think I deleted it. But I did meet a bunch of nice people. Several of them were very hardcore into the whole thing. By very hardcore, I mean like they would meet up and actually drink blood and good stuff like that. So if who's got a question, I have not drank blood. Thank you.
So was this similar to like was this like Vampire the Gathering, just a little bit more vampire?
We like were pretty hardcore. If you had something against one of us, you had something against all of us. And they would like we would actually talk in person and talk over the phone, talk over the internet, a little bit of everything. In retrospect, I was a teenager and these people were probably in their 30s plus at the time. So, I don't know how I would feel about that today. Being a 30-something-year-old, I don't think I'd want to be talking to teenagers, especially about cultish behaviors. But, you know, that was back then. Good times. That was just, like, I guess one of the things that I was in. Like, they were very supportive. Some of the nicest people I've ever met. But if you know anything about cults in general, there's this thing called love bombing, which is where people in cults will, I guess, pretend or put on a facade of niceness to get you to open up to them, to kind of like draw you in and be like, did I honestly believe I was ever going to be a vampire or anything like that? No, I did not. Did these people think that it was a real thing? Yes. They were probably just going to prey on me. I am like a little bunny, okay? I'm easy prey. But as you guys know, that is not the only cult I've been in. So easy prey is definitely a word I would use to describe myself. But I go into cult territory with a sense of, ooh, this is fun.
See, I kind of feel for you because there are I'm when it comes to religious groups, people love to um I will talk to people and just go right into like, what are you about? Let me hear your story. And I've had, I've had a couple religious groups visit my home, like for months on end, almost like once, I think it was like a whole year. I had Mormons and other religious groups show up at my house just wanting to talk to me.
As a former Mormon that still gets Mormons at her door constantly, and I'm friends with a lot of them. A lot of them are really cool. I do not go to the church anymore, only because there's some very big issues I had with what they were teaching and my personal beliefs. Unfortunately, in that church setting, they do not believe that women should be in any form of teaching position or higher power because we are basically lesser. And we are also supposed to bow down and do anything our husband is the end all be all. If our husband says we can or can't do something, we have to 100% listen to them. We do not get a choice. And I did not want my daughters growing up thinking that that was correct. Because I'm not going to sit there and tell my daughter that she is never going to be allowed to be in a position to be a teacher or anybody in a higher authority because our church said so.
Oh, yeah.
I just don't feel like that is what I want to teach them. But, you know, some people do consider that a cult. I also got a rejection letter from the Jehovah's Witness. I was kind of sad about it. So I will talk to pretty much anybody. I will make friends with pretty much anybody. And they showed up at my door. It's probably 13 years ago now. And I invited them in. And I talked to them. And I cannot lie to somebody's face at all. Like, I am a horrible liar, and you will be able to tell if I lie, because I'm like,
Yep.
So they would ask me questions, and I have, I'm going to call it verbal diarrhea. If you ask me a question, I'm going to give you the answer. You're probably not going to like the answer, but I don't have an off button. So they came in and we talked for a good hour about a little bit of everything. And then they left and they were like, okay, we'll come back next weekend. We'll get you all the information you requested. And I was like, okay, cool. Thank you. That's beautiful. I appreciate it. You know, all that good stuff. Next week rolls around, and when they were supposed to be there, I'm sitting there and I'm ready. I'm like pumped. We're gonna have this conversation. And so I go and I get this note and knock on my door. I open up the door and there's paperwork hanging off my door with a note on it. And the note says, "Dear Keisha, we're sorry. We're not coming back," basically, is what they said. They are looking for people who are lost and confused, and they didn't think that I was either of those things, which obviously they don't know me very well. So I am a very lost and confused person. But they basically told me that I wasn't what they're looking for. I still have the note somewhere. I'll have to find it. But they never came back ever again. And I hope that the people that live in that house now appreciate what I did for them. Because I no longer live in that house. But I feel like they never went back there after that. And I don't know why. Because I'm a very genuinely nice person. But I do have some very strong beliefs about being a good person. And apparently that doesn't sit well with everybody.
Oh, it does. Having those kind of morals doesn't sit well with a lot of like church-going people lately, it seems.
Oh yeah. So, but like, you know, I have been involved in a lot of culty activity over the years. So I believe I've told this story on here before. Did I ever tell you the 11 story?
Refresh my memory.
So my mom looks at me in the middle of the night. So my mom is notorious for doing this, okay? We moved a lot, and I mean a lot. And my mom looked at us. It's probably 2 a.m. in the morning. We're a gaming household. We're sitting there playing video games. For anybody that knows this, WoW, World of Warcraft. So we're sitting there playing video games. And my mom looks over and she goes, "You guys want to move? Like, right now?" And us being teenagers, we were like, you know what? Yes. let's do this. So we packed up our car at 2 a.m. with whatever we could fit in it, and we decided to get on the road. We had no idea where we were going. We just packed up what would fit in the car, got in the car, and left. Like, we left all of our belongings in that random house, and we just left. I think we were living in North Carolina at the time. And so we get in the car and we keep driving, and my mom looks over at me and she goes, Keisha, where should we go? And I said, you know what? I have no idea, but I feel like we should follow the number 11. So we ended up renting a moving vehicle the next day or something like that, just to grab a couple bigger items on the way, because we like to do this thing called garage sailing, and my mom was obsessed with it. So on the way, we would stop, get stuff, for our new destination. And so we rented a U-Haul, and we had no idea where we were going, but we knew we were going to follow the number 11. We followed the number 11 at every turn we could. So if we saw a number 11, hey, that's exit sign 11, we're going to go there. Hey, that's street 11th Street, let's go there, etc. And then we got all the way into, I think it was West Virginia. And we ended up going down this street called 11th Street, off of the 11th exit or something like that. And we ended up jackknifing the U-Haul that we had rented to put all the stuff in along our journey. So we went to the U-Haul place, which happened to have an 11 in the name. Go figure. And we're like, look, we jackknifed our U-Haul. We have no idea where we're going. We do not have a place to live. We don't know what our plan is in general. So the U-Haul guy looks at us and he goes, you know what? I live in a big house. It's a college house. So there's like 5 different college students that live in it. And he's like, they're away for right now visiting their family. You want to come stay with us? So we ended up living with this random college student that worked at U-Haul, which happened to live at 1111.
Oh.
Was his address, which was amazing, because why not? And so we lived with him, and one day he was like, look, you guys have been pent up in the house. He goes, here's some money, go out and have ice cream. So we got in the car and we were like, okay, let's go find some ice cream. And we ended up going on the 11th exit, because this is like by this tri-state area, and we were trying to figure out, and she's like, where do we find ice cream? I was like, I don't know. So we went off of exit 11, and we ended up going on the main drag and finding ice cream. We go in, get the ice cream, and the lady goes, oh, awesome, nice to have you here, welcome to town. And we're like, you don't happen to know by chance if there's any places for rent around here? Because we're looking for a place. She goes, it was a business district, so it's all businesses on this road. But there was one house right next to the ice cream place, literally the next door neighbor to the ice cream place. The address was 1112, I think, or something like that. I don't remember. It had 11 in it. And she goes, you know what? This place is not up for sale yet, but they just told us yesterday that they're going to put it up for,
Oh, wow.
They haven't listed it yet, but they're going to rent it out or something like that. And we called this lady and we were like, hey, your next door neighbor said that you're looking to rent. And they were like, you know what? Since you guys are new to the area, we'll give you the first month free.
Wow.
So we ended up moving in there. And while we were there, I started going to church. I dabbled in every church I could find. generally, because I find it interesting. It's intriguing to me. I will literally follow anybody if they go, hey, you want to see the shiny rock? You got me. Let's go. So I started going to this one church, and I, at the time, did not know that they were cultish, okay? But I was telling them how we had ended up in that part of West Virginia and why we were there. And then they were like, hey, you should come to these special meetings. And these people were great. Like, they were super rich. It was one of those rich, big, like, they had mansions as houses and stuff. I actually straightener that lady gave me. I went to stay at this lady's house. I don't know why my mom let me go stay at her house. Like, I was like, hey mom, I'm going to stay at this rich lady's house for the night. Cool? Okay. I met her at church. That's probably why she let me do it. So I went to this lady's house, and she had a jacuzzi bathtub in this beautiful, she was an interior designer, so everything was like just beautiful in her house and super expensive. And as I was taking a bubble bath in her heated bathtub, I was thinking, you know what? This is nice. I was ready to join the cult, okay? So I started going more often and stuff like that. And then they wanted me to keep going, or they wanted me to go to these special meetings, but they told my mom that I was a prophet. They said that the meetings were specifically only for prophets, and my mother and my family was not allowed to join. Like, you had to be a prophet in order to go to this meeting. And they thought that I was a prophet. Like, they had a whole little meeting in a separate room, and a bunch of little people came in, and they were, yep, Keisha's anointed, and all this other it was beautiful. Okay. But my mom said no. Unfortunately, I could be the leader, or I could be sacrificed at this point. Who knows? But, it was fun. But I was almost the leader of a cult. I don't know what I would have called it, but I think I would have been a great leader.
Now, is it common in the States for like colleges and their I know sororities is usually the female version of this, but for those groups to be cultish?
Oh yes. So I hope my little brothers never find this. I have 2 little brothers currently in college, and they are both in fraternities. 100% I believe fraternities and sororities are cults. There has been some sketchy stuff going on. Like, my little brother was telling me how somebody they had peed on one of the, like, they all took turns pee, but not him. But one of the other sororities took turns peeing on one of their pledges as a hazing ritual. I didn't know that was allowed anymore. Like, I thought hazing was like banned.
Yeah.
But no, it is not. It is still alive and well. They just hide it better. Like, he was telling me horror stories about all these different things that are going on at college, and I'm like, oh, dear sweet baby, like, I thought you were there to learn. What are they doing to you? So apparently it's pretty sketchy over that way. College people, please chime in and let me know how your experience was in college. But
because that's definitely an experience that up in Canada we're not known for having sororities or like doing like the college pledge thing. At least, okay, so I haven't really spent much time at college. I did go into broadcasting school though, so that's about it. that was my experience with post-secondary school.
My little brother did tell me that his sorority, like, he had to wear a band signifying on his wrist that he was a pledge, and during his entire pledge thing, like, they would ask him to do ridiculous things. Like, they would be like, okay, you have to stay up for 3 days straight without any sleep, and you have to do everything we say. You have to sleep outside. You have to do this. You have to do that. You have to do all these different things, or else you will not get picked. They lost a lot of pledges that way. But, like, my little brother is still in the pledge, so apparently, or a fraternity, so apparently he succeeded in doing all the ridiculous things they wanted him to do. But 100% I believe that they are cults. Because the people that were in charge were... So, I don't know if you've got a quick definition of a cult for people.
See, what you had touched on earlier was like the love bombing and trying to make everybody feel loved and included. And I'm going to be honest, that's exactly how I felt when I started working for Starbucks years ago. And it's like they'll give you like all these reassurances. You're doing a good job. Yay, you're getting it. And it was just like everybody was like super nice, and it didn't help. It helped immensely being like high on caffeine most of the time, but it was just a weird feeling of like my like any of the managers were just like super it's like super nice, and but then it was like if you did something wrong or they would coach you, it just seemed like, you know, just very like their attitudes seemed very narcissistic in a way, where it's like you couldn't please them enough to make sure that you're doing like you're trying to do a good job and make them happy, but it's just like, I don't know, something about their personality is just...
So I think that actually happens a lot in work environment. I don't think people realize how prevalent cult behavior is in a lot of things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, multi-level marketing things are 100% cults.
Oh yeah.
I've been in several of them. They will 100%, like, I spent a lot
Avon, Mary Kay. Yeah.
They're like, hey, you can get this good deal on this if you resell it to other people. So we would end up buying thousands of dollars of things in the guise of, hey, we'll sell this to other people and make money back. But if you're not a good salesman, I am not good at selling things. You ain't gonna make that money back. But that's how they get you, and then those people above you end up making the money.
Yeah, but there's always that one person in the like for Starbucks. It was the founder of Starbucks, and he wasn't exactly the founder of Starbucks. Okay, Starbucks existed outside of Howard Schultz. He used to work for Starbucks, but he created the Starbucks experience, the lifestyle that it's known for now. But everybody like regards this guy as like the higher power and how amazing he was, and he brought us all these benefits.
You know what?
Their meetings are insane. Like when they have like the manager meetings down in the States, and they have like the come visit come visit Seattle, for a tour. Super culty. If you look into that whole thing.
This may surprise you guys, but I am super gullible. I wouldn't say I'm super gullible, but I'm super trusting which is also basically super gullible. If you sit there and tell me, hey, I'll be nice to you, I'm going to believe you. I have no reason not to believe you, okay? I will 100% follow you into fire. I have literally had people steal vehicles from me, an entire, like, just in general, lots of things, okay? Because I'm like, yes, I do believe you. You are a good person. A lot of you know, last year, I think it was, my house got broken into, stuff got missing, all stuff like that. You want to know who one of my closest friends is? That same person.
Oh.
I
Wow.
I'm not good at this, guys. Make up a cult, invite me to it. I will join. Have you guys not seen the back of the cereal box? I'm in it. I love you, Johnny. So no, I'm kidding. We're not completely a cult. We're just slightly a cult with followers. And people listen to us talk. And people believe us about things that they shouldn't. Oh. Okay, maybe we're a cult. Guys, are we a cult?
Only a little.
Okay.
We promise we won't show up to your house and leave you pamphlets telling you that your soul will be saved if you watch these 3 cartoons.
It might help, though. It might help. So, okay, no, but all serious, guys, I wanted to say this before because I don't know, my phone's acting funny, so I don't know if it's about to die or what's going on. But I will be taking a little bit of a hiatus from social media, because I have to for my own mental health. Every once in a while, I step back from social media, I get myself grounded, all that good stuff. It may be the cult behavior in me. I don't know.
And I think that is something that I think we all should practice every so often. Is if something is stressing you out, walk away from it for a little while. Go back to it when you feel like you're ready to. I do that with art from time to time, where it's like I stress myself out trying to create it, and especially when it comes to costumes, where I rage quit on a costume one time. I still haven't gone back to it because I'm just like I have to actually look at it and see. I might end up taking it apart and rethinking what I want to do with it. But yeah, no, do yourself a favor. Just walk away from something that you feel is stressing you out.
And as I'm not super stressed about this in general, because I love the back of the cereal box. I love all the co-hosts and the hosts, and you guys are fabulous. But internet in general, speaking of cults, I feel like it's very cliquey and like everybody wants certain things from you. And sometimes you just need to back away and gain back to what like you feel is your normal. And I feel like right now I need to take a break from a little bit of everything. I've been off of Facebook for I think a week now. I can't remember quite how long. I'm off of Twitter. I'm off of basically everything. I wanted to do this show because we have been talking about doing this show for ages because everybody wanted to randomly know about different cult experiences and stuff like that I have gone through. So we were like, you know what? Let's do this.
Yeah. And I promise, like, we'll revisit the whole cult thing because, yeah, we do have to touch on like the branched, or not have to, but I mean, there are certain cults that I'd like to talk about,
especially the one where you drink Kool-Aid. You don't drink Kool-Aid, guys.
Yeah, the image that I used for for our title image is the chair from Jonestown, and in the back at the background, I don't know if you guys will see it. It actually says behind the chair, anybody who anybody who doesn't believe in history is doomed to repeat it, or to that same effect anyway. And that is true, unfortunately, when it comes to history. Anybody who doesn't believe in history is doomed to repeat it. And it feels like that's what we're in now with history.
I've seen people blindly, I'm not going to put any names out there because we don't need to do that on this show. But I have seen people blindly follow certain people right now, and they will blindly know they say, and we're like, you guys do know what he's preaching, right? Like, he may not be an actual preacher, but you guys do know the things that he's preaching are there's like a huge cult going on, and some people don't see it. Hopefully some people learn to see it, because I don't think this is gonna go well.
And unfortunately, it's one of those situations. I often said that my sister would definitely be the type to join a cult. And there was a cult that I saw on my research, but maybe next episode we'll have to definitely do the deep dive down different cults. There was a cult in Vancouver, and I'm just like, why am I not surprised? That would definitely be the place for, if any cults were to form in Canada, that would definitely be the place for one.
Willow, have you ever been in a cult?
Besides Christianity? No.
So for those of you that don't know, I did write a book, and it does touch on some things cultish. But not everything is firsthand experience. So if you do read the book, don't worry. A lot of that stuff did happen, and a lot of it did not. Just a forewarning. Nobody died in the making of this video. The book, I can't say, but nobody died in the making of this video.
Well, I mean, okay, I do have 5 cats, so I guess that's kind of a cult.
Oh, honey, that's a cult. Yeah. You are not the leader.
It started with 1.
Honey,
it always starts with the
leader. 1. You are not the leader. Okay?
Oh, no.
I can tell you that. The cats, they know you're gullible. Yep. They're like, she'll take more of us.
She's in her mid-40s. She'll feed us. She'll take us in.
Yeah, that's how they get ya. I'm not even a fan of cats, and I have 3 of them.
Yep.
Why? Why do I have cats? I don't know. They're cute in theory.
They're cute, cuddly, and it's the purring that gets you.
I don't even like when they cuddle me. I'm like, ew. What? Oh. I'm not very good on personal, like, touchy touch. Like, I get the ick very easy. So I'm like, why are you like this? Why do you want my love? It's not necessary. Just stay over there. I will feed you and be by yourself. I'm a bad cat cult person.
See, and then there's me. Like, I love dogs, but I love other people's dogs. They go home.
See, I am 100% a dog person. I love dogs. They generally stay away from me and just sleep on the floor and catch things when I throw them. I'm fine with that. Don't worry, guys. I am starting my own cult. I've been birthing them. They scare me. I actually have a theme song for my daughter. I'm gonna sing for you guys now. It's a little bit psycho, completely unhinged. There's other verses, but that's all you're getting.
I love that.
So they're beautiful, but they are going to be dangerous. Like, I am scared for whoever they end up being because I know they are going to probably take over the world. I would follow them into fire. Uh, it's not going to be good. They will have their own cults. I don't doubt that at all. Um, if they're anything like me, but no, I'm just kidding. Kind of. I am scared. Uh, they yeah, nope. They just have to look at me and like be like, "Well, I do need this," and I'm like, "You do? Yes, you do. Can we afford it? No. Do we have space for it? No. Do I have the mental capacity to deal with it? No. But you looked at me. You said, "Mom, I really need this," and I'm like, "You
Now,
do."
now I'm curious. My husband's in the train hobby. I wonder how how much that could be considered being in a cult because he spends a lot of money on those trains.
As somebody who owns train stuff, yes, most things can be considered a cult. I'm actually currently in a crocheting cult. Um, why? I don't know, but we call ourselves what is it? Oh my goodness. Hookers and bookers. Hookers and bookers because we read books and we crochet.
Oh, that's hilarious. I love that.
Um but I am almost convinced we are a cult. We all get together and talk for hours about our plans to destroy the world or something like that. Um, but through crocheting and books. So,
we
it's a safe cult.
we have a local like I keep tabs on some of the like the local sewing clubs in my city, and there's a Stitch and Bitch group that meets every so often for coffee.
I like it. I like it. Every once in a while, my husband will be like, "What are you doing over there?" And I'm like, "I'm talking to the hookers and bookers." And he's like, "What is that?" I'm like, "Currently my cult." Okay? Uh we just talk about books and crocheting. But we also, yeah, nope, it's a cult. Dang it.
And
So close.
I think I hear one of your children crying in the background.
I am ignoring it. Yes. um, no, I will probably have to go check on that. It sounds dangerous down there.
Well, before you leave, tell us where we can find you on social media, please.
Right now, this is pretty much it for the second. Go back and watch some of our older episodes. Because it helps us out.
Yes.
And the algorithm and everything. But right now, I am not currently updating many things. So if you want to look at any of my old stuff, you can look up Keisha Acuff or Acuff Creations. I Googled myself the other day. Apparently, there's a lot.
Hi. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for allowing me to at the last second because I just got back into town.
Oh, no worries. I'm just letting Keisha ramble on about where she's going to be for the next little while, and we'll get on talking about your experiences with cult-like behavior.
Ooh, okay.
So I don't know how long I'm going to be on hiatus, but this beautiful lady down here that just joined us, and this beautiful lady, yeah, over there, will be doing things on here while I am gone. I don't think I actually announced it to Johnny yet. Sorry, Johnny. Love you, mean it. But I am going to be taking a break just for mental health reasons. Taking a step back from a little bit of everything and getting my roots back in the ground where I need them personally. So, until then, I will see you guys when I get back.
Okay. You have a good night, and don't join any cults without me.
I'll let you know.
Okay.
All right. I gotta go check on the wee one. You guys take care. Bye.
Bye.
Hi,
okay. Hi, how are you?
I'm good. Long time no see.
I know. We're usually on camera every Saturday morning for the longest time, almost a whole year before they.
Oh my God, I miss being on Saturday mornings. Like, I love my job. I love my job dearly, but I'd like to have my Saturday mornings back.
See, how about you just send that energy my way? Because I could use a little 9 to 5 gig. Because as much as I love my vending, it's been sporadic, and I would like just a little more activity in that area. But I have been enjoying popping on when I could, how I could, where I could. I was just on And I Quote for the Batman movie.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to be able to be on the Peanuts one that we do. And I've got a young man who's going to have me on for talking about adoption related things on a different podcast. So, I'm trying to stay busy there, but I'd like a little more income related busy.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because I had just had a job interview with my city's parking authority earlier this week. So fingers crossed that something with that transpires. But yeah, no, like it would be nice to have like a 9 to 5 Monday through Friday job.
I'll settle for a few days out of the week, honestly, right now. I don't know if I could do the 9 to 5. You know what? I'm not going to lie. I'll be honest on here. I was in middle management. I did retail for 7 years. You got to reach the numbers. You got to reach the numbers. That's very important. I'm one of those people. So people are more important. So when we had to do like numbers were important, I was bad at that in comparison to people were important. I'm like, morale is how we get numbers. And they were like, well, you have to pull morale out of your butt. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, I've never done that before, but I'll do my best.
I touched on this with Starbucks because they were the kind of like the experience of for me I work for a cult where it's like the management loved their big leader, their CEO. And I'm just like, I couldn't. I tried reading his book, and I'm just like, no, I can't even get through his book about his life.
That's amazing that you actually tried that, because I did my research before I got the job on who is CEO and blah blah blah, whatever. The stock holdings. Trying to let them know I know about your company. I want to work here. I want to work my way up the ladder. I wanted to become a buyer eventually. I'm not going to mention the name of the company because one day, who knows, I might need another job that badly. I'm not going to burn that bridge. But, because I was middle management.
The bridge with me was burnt a long time ago.
But I will say that I remember working with other corporations. I will say that I worked for Denny's. I worked for Shoney's. I worked for numerous other restaurants, also Ryan's, McDonald's, some gas stations. I'm not going to, I was a single mom, and I was a mom at 19 on my 19th birthday. So I had to have jobs, whatever I could. And I was barely making it in college when I was trying. So I'm like, there's a little synopsis, little about me. So I have never been ashamed to clean a toilet or put up some hot dogs or pack the freezer or take care of customers' needs or make sure the paperwork and, whatever stock. I'm on it, right? Whatever. I've also worked for the state Department of Tennessee, where I was a juvenile detention officer. I worked for a funeral home, and I can say retail is the true cult.
Yeah.
Like in all of these jobs, fast food, retail, the terrifying when the big boss, when the regional manager would come knocking.
Yeah.
Terrified. People shaking in their boots. The amount of stress these people would rain down on the rest of us. It's like, Oh God.
You have to clean the store. You have to like. I worked for 7-Eleven for a couple of years, and my boss Paul would put me on. Like if the big cheese was coming in, he'd put me on it that night so that I can clean the store, because he knew exactly how I was. It's like I would like shine the Slurpee machines. That's how picky I was when it came to my cleaning. And he wanted that.
Oh.
And
attention to detail. We call it attention to detail because it's a good thing.
Yeah. But I also ended up putting my back out for that company.
That's not a good thing. That's not what happened.
No.
Being a cleanly person? Just cleaning? What?
Cleaning. I think it was a combination of cleaning and like the Slurpee bibs, and those things were heavy. Those things were like 25 to 50 pounds whenever you switch them.
Are they high up? Do you have to go up? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Some of those. Yeah.
So that's what I did. I twisted my ankle once working at McDonald's, replacing the stuff on the top of the machine, pouring, items into the top to make
the syrup stuff. Yeah.
And it was up. You had to be up. So I had to be up. And then when I got down, I twisted my ankle. And then when I went up too much, I like bent too far forward. And yeah, I get it. You can do that. That's okay. And I had to understand what kind of thing you were doing but now that I understand.
When it came to cleaning the Slurpee machines, I would like literally go on the floor and go under and just like sweep the crap out from underneath. And then there was one day where the head honcho was coming in, and I was doing my usual wiping, and I went out years ago. I was smoking. I went out and had a smoke, and while I was having my smoke, I was cleaning the parking lot. Went to go sit down, and I heard a pop in my back, and I'm just like, no, that's not good. And then I think it wasn't until I got home that the spasms, my back started to spasm. It spasmed for months.
Ooh.
I tried collecting, because I was part-time working at 7-Eleven. Workers' comp only paid me a certain amount of money for my to be on workers' comp. I couldn't afford to be off. I could not afford to be off work, so I ended up working.
Oh my gosh. So yeah, going back to our topic, I definitely think there's certain corporations
working your way through a cult.
Yes, it very much feels
to
like
appease
that.
People.
Yeah, and here's the bad part. Like what I learned in watching my parents when they were adults in the business revolution is business became cult-like. So I'm glad that you were talking about that and that got brought up, because the boys club, well, women were in the workforce, is no longer the boys club was the excuse you could throw at it, but then the excuse was, well, we have to buy into the boys club because we're women. If we don't get the same respect. And I saw a monochrome of that, but what I saw was repeating. What I saw was, this is the way it worked. So I trained you this way. So you're going to do it this way. It wasn't just men doing this. It was women doing this as well.
Yeah.
And I have to say, I get it. You're trained a certain way. Your boss wants you to do. But here's the thing. Things don't get better if somebody doesn't say, hey, this kind of sucks. Then it is a cult.
Yeah.
Then it is a cult, because you're literally buying into the idea that this way is the only way. It's we can't branch off from that. There's no freedom of thought. And what is a cult? Except restricting the value of freedom of thought. In progress, thinking about it in terms of progress, not just any freedom of thought. Oh, I have the thought I want to do something bad. No. The thought of something expanding and things getting better and moving forward. If that's restricted, that's a cult, and cult of personality. We are living in an era where that is bigger than ever. They made jokes about that when I was growing up. in the 80s and 90s, cult of personality, and they made jokes about it. It was before we were around. Marilyn was part of the cult of personality,
Mm-hmm.
like Elvis. Oh, I might get some poop thrown at me from the internet, but Elvis and Marilyn were cult of personality, if we want to talk about it. Like the cult of being trapped in their identity of who they should be, not who they are as a person, not who they could grow to be as an artist, but who their fans wanted them to be. Yeah. And, if we're going to think about that, let's talk about the cult of fandom now. Yeah. The fandom has become a cult. It's terrifying a little bit sometimes to be a fan, because sometimes you bring it up and people are like, oh, what are you a fan of? And I'm like, wait, when did becoming a fan of something, when did that become so scary, guys? And I realized it's because of the cult of it.
We those who have a huge following, like J.K. Rowling, with the whole Harry Potter
talk about
thing.
Some mad fans. I am a Harry Potter fan. I'm not a J.K. Rowling fan, but I do love and shout out. But I am a Harry Potter
became this huge thing. I didn't get into Harry Potter. Like, I love the movies, but I just couldn't really get into. I never read the books, so I apologize.
I read every book except the last, and nobody can make me read the last one. I don't care. Okay, I was hardcore. I was a young mom when JK was a young mom, and I tried to write, and I got shot down twice, and I stayed down, and she was inspiring. So I kept writing, and I do have things, and I've been working on things over the years, but I did not have the bravery she did to knock on the door and get destroyed and go back again. And people can say all they want to, she ripped things off. Mm-hmm. But who hasn't? There are so many people who are inspired by Shakespeare. Do we want to talk about who ripped off who?
Star Wars has their own their own cult. Like, me and my husband are like, any chance we get, we're watching something that was Star Wars.
Yeah. So fandoms of different kinds have become cult-like. And it just depends on the freedom of thought idea, which is where it comes back. If you're a fan of something and there can't be a freedom of thought of that item, there's the cult right there. If you can't expand your mind past that moment of your belief, it becomes cult-like.
I think that what was it? The first fandom cult was Star Trek.
Oh my god! No, that was the first recognized.
It started with
Elvis girls. No. I have met some women that are in their 50s, 60s, obsessed with Elvis. Obsessed. Oh, this is a napkin he had in a restaurant once in a frame. Okay, so we don't know how far back this could go, but cult of personality became cult of fandom. Yeah. When personality became a cult, so did fandom became a cult. And just people, it's become part of their lives so deep now.
Yeah. The technology has their own cults. Like, iPhone.
There are people who only follow, the science journals. Science geeks have become cultish in a way because, they close their doors to the new ideas, and then to their own people. Mm-hmm. The music industry became a cultish in terms when violence and shutting down other businesses became a thing. Film. I'm scared to even go there because we're on YouTube. Hop, skip, and a jump. Fandom and appreciation for something, obsession is the line of where that cult starts, isn't it?
I mean, video games have their own cults. Like E3, like I want to go to E3 and see all the like great video games that are coming out or the systems and stuff like that. I every so often I'll watch like the E3 stuff that comes out. Like Sony will release a new game or like their system or something, and I'm like right there on the internet waiting for the live feed.
So you're not at the cult stage, but you're definitely a Tense fan.
Oh yeah. Like, okay, so I have all the Sony PlayStations. And Sony is one of those companies that when they release a new technology, like beta tape was like their number one. Everybody had it, everybody loved it, and then VHS came out, and it became the war of what is better, what technology is better. Everybody still swore by using beta tapes. Broadcasters, to this day, broadcasting still uses beta tapes. I mean, it may not be as popular now, but I mean, I think it was up until the early 2000s that most of the high tech, most of the broadcasters, their stations still ran on beta tape. VHS, I mean, I don't know. I could be wrong, but some people did swear by VHS, but beta tapes Sony just had a better, it was just better technology wise.
Yeah.
But unfortunately Sony, and they did this throughout their whole history of existence, they wouldn't share their technology with anybody else. So that's what killed beta in the market.
Yeah, they wanted to have more control than they needed to. Hold on loosely, guys.
Yeah. And I'm sorry, I didn't mean to ignore the people in the chat, but we got Carl Woodsman. Thank you for coming. But I'm glad that you guys are here. Donna, Carly, and I'm good with saying I'm in the cult of Willow.
Oh, that's so sweet. Yeah.
Don Dula says hi.
Hello.
And Dan Hollyfield, being poor is a viable reason and then we have Daniel McKellen. I can see retail being a cult in some places. Yes, I worked in retail. My experiences weren't cult-like, but more like an organized crime feeling to it.
Well, okay. Which is the better? Neither are good. So, the lesser of two evils at this point.
So I love the organized crime bit because I did work with an Italian family at their restaurants for a little bit, and for some reason it was just the pain in the ass to get them to make a proper schedule, and I'm like, guys, if you guys can organize crime, why is it so hard to organize a schedule?
Facts. Organized crime is a cult, though. So, I mean, if you really think about the hierarchy, it's a pyramid scheme all by itself. I'm just saying.
Dad. Willow, the only reason VHS became the home standard is because it was cheap enough for the porn industry to adopt. That's so true. Thanks, Dan, for that. I mean, porn has their own followers too, and like, okay, so early 2000s, porn being having their own like there was on cable. For those of you who I'm sure watched it, there was a couple shows that was very popular in early 2000 that talked about the porn industry and like the cam girl stuff, and I was I wasn't into the whole the cam girl thing, but I was interested in watching what that was all about. And so I became a fan of watching those shows. It was the reality when reality TV started becoming popular. And even that has like that exploded with their own following as well.
I mean, reality TV really picked up when we had those MTV Kids in the house.
Yeah.
And I am old enough to remember that starting and being like, wait, so it's like home movies? I'm confused. Because I had family members that were like, oh, I'm gonna spend all my money and get this camera and then follow people around. Yeah. I mean, okay. So like it's like that, but the cameras are like different people not living in the house. Like I was so confused as a young person what the point of this was. And it was real-ish. Back then they still had a script. They admitted years and years later they still had a script. So, the real is like what is real? What is real when we're being honest in the moment. And sometimes that can go viral, like we talk about now, and people can, make millions off of it. And I'm not even going to mention the meme that's flying around that people keep talking about. I don't care. I'm not, there are many meme lords everywhere. I don't really find that that's part of the whole cult of personality. It's fun. It's funny, when you get those things stuck in your head, but to each their own when it comes to that. What are you going to get obsessed about today? We wake up the next day. We should be accepting the fact that everybody's going to choose that day. Do I want to, excuse my language, I don't know if you can bleep this out or not, but fuck around and find out on the internet? Because one minute, we're obsessed with cats. And the next minute there's something to be outraged about. And the next minute there's something to really be mad about and something to be really stuck, into about. And sometimes we just need to step away and breathe. Because the ideas become a cult. It becomes an obsession. A comment these days. There are people that are obsessed with commenting. You get what they call trolls.
Social media has their own. It has their own cult where good on Zuckerberg for making it like. I think he's the king of the rage bait.
I mean,
where we go on Facebook, we go on even Twitter or X, whatever it's called. Mm-hmm. We go on social media just to see the latest drama, what's happening with people. And I mean, like I'm on TikTok. I use it more so just to post stuff. But yeah, like I will admit that I have my own way of rage baiting every so often. I try very hard to stay away from it, but as soon as anything politics pops up, it's like, oh, this is my focus now.
Right. And I had to take TikTok off of my phone. I'm not gonna lie. My friend and I stopped talking like 4 or 5 years ago. I got Instagram. She got TikTok in the breakup. It's only a little bit of a joke there because it's true. I took it off. I have been back out on, and that became a little bit of a cult kind of thing because if you didn't follow the right people, I started noticing if you commented on the wrong people and people came after you, I was like, this is crazy. I liked the disconnect that Instagram had versus the instant gratification on TikTok. So, while there are plenty of people out there that are shunning all of social media, I still have my toes in the water, but I'm not waist deep anymore. Like I was going to do Twitter. No, I'm just going to go back and try to resurface my MySpace even. Going to have TikTok. I limited so much of what I have because you have to. You really have to. Because that alone feels like you're pulled. Like your compulsory need to connect with everything that's going on. And so we've all had to learn to turn it off at this point, because we can allow ourselves to get trapped in this prison of thought, very cult-like in our own nature, that we have to do this. Oh, I have to see this. Oh, I have to keep up with this. No, you don't. No, you don't. You have to wake up.
There seems to be like a connection of certain personalities that you can tell are what, like I've mentioned before, my sister would definitely be the type of person to join a cult, because she has that personality of certain of other certain personality types that believe in one. Okay, so the flat earthers. There's a certain personality type.
I met one in person.
But these are the people who believe in these weird conspiracies. You tell them that something else exists outside of that world. It's like, no, this exists. And it's like you spend so much of your energy trying to explain to them, no, this is this is the reality. And then you start banging your head against the wall, because you're like, how do these people exist?
Oh yeah, we think that there's, it's unreasonable that there's people out there that are still racist, that there's people that are still for marrying people underage, that it's still strange that there are people for slavery. This is not a lie. These are real. These things are still out there. And unfortunately, we think that it's just people being mean. There's still a level of ignorance out there. What I have learned in my life, and why, and I'm going to tie this into cults, exactly why cults are the thing, why thought processes can become cult-like, is because there is a comfort, y'all. The reason why cults still get made, why people still join them, no matter what you might consider a cult. You've talked about other, I'm sure before I got on here, of other cult-like situations. We talked about retail, thought process, social media, the cult of personality, the cult of being a fan. We've talked about those already, but there's a reason why we do it. It's comfortable.
Yeah.
It's so comfortable. And we find that level of comfort, and we find that, and it turns into this heavy weighted blanket, and we just feel like we belong there. And I'm not going to say that I'm not part of that. I said we for a reason. I was a heavy into the religion that I was in, which I won't mention in this episode, for 35 years, 30 years. And then for 5 years getting out of it. Like I was in TAR still. So like rehab, I had to rehabilitate my ability to exist without that crutch, and people still connected to it so heavy. They made me feel guilty for it. So, it doesn't even matter what we're talking about, whether it's drugs, because that's a cult of personality right there. Once you get there, your friends are all connected to the drugs. I lost a dear friend to drugs, and watched that person reject their family and their friends and turn to all new sets of friends just to feel that comfort, so that was their home, And so what do you decide to get out of that is not, you don't get, that's what I said it wrong. You don't get to decide what you get out of it. Everybody knows you're getting comfort. You find a little family, a little niche. You bury yourself in that weighted heavy blanket, and it feels so comfy. And it's it's toxic in that moment. And anything, even the cult of the idea that human beings need sex for connection, like something as simple as that can become a thought that pervades of generations and generations, to the point where no one can get past this thing. And that's one of the things that I believe, that, what is it? Curse breakers, pattern breakers in our families. We get to a certain age, and some of us realize, oh, this isn't working out, y'all. This is bad. Maybe we should try to do something different. Anybody for that? No, I'm alone in this camp. Okay. So as somebody going through that, which I'm sure a lot of you are, it's difficult. It's really difficult. No matter if the whole family thought it, or just 4 of them thought it, or 2 of them thought it, and that's all you had. It's difficult to break the thought pattern of a cult, even if the cult is whatever you were taught, and it never seemed to be a cult. No one said it was a cult. But once you remove yourself from that, and the tar is off of your feet, and you are truly separated, you see that and you feel like a different person. You feel like, how is that me? You don't. I met a woman who was in a religion that I won't mention her name, but she shares her story, and one day maybe she'll go and talk on a podcast about it. But to hear her was that was how she felt about it, as though she could look back on her old self and see this person and shake her head and go, why? Why did I settle for that? Why was I thinking that? Why did I allow that to be felt by me and to show others this is how I felt? So that comfort, that I don't, in the audience, have you ever felt that, if you guys are still there, as we went on a tangent a little bit, but have you ever felt that comfort where you realized once you stopped feeling comfort from that thing, that it was like, ooh, was that really, that wasn't good? Was that kind of cult like just a little bit there? Like you didn't have the freedom to be yourself, to change, to go forward, to think outside their realm of comfort.
Yeah. See, and that's it for me. Like I was raised in the Christian faith, and being in foster care, I was in a foster home that was very Catholic based, but I didn't go through like any of the Catholic training, because I wasn't in that foster home long enough. But and then in another one of my foster homes, I went through like the Christian, like some kind of Christian denomination faith, where there was at one point where the pastor actually spent time telling us how evil Pokemon was. That was his whole sermon. Yep. And I'm just like, you're serious. We're just going to sit here talking about how evil a cartoon is because it's about magic. And I just like I turned to my foster mom and I'm like, you're serious. You're going to ban Pokemon in our household because it's evil. Huh? Okay. Yep. And this was the lifestyle living in this small town that I lived in. And I'm just like, I can't. This was where this was around the time where I was literally struggling with who I was as a person. And here I am listening to a pastor preach of what we're supposed to be doing as Christians, but we're not supposed to be watching stuff that is about magic and evolving creatures. And I'm just like, but your Bible, the thing that you teach us, has magic, has miracles.
Has men watching the stars to see if things were going to happen. Ooh, scary.
Yeah, so I struggled with my faith because of that.
Rightly so.
It's like,
rightly
who am I supposed to talk to if I have questions about the Bible and I'm not supposed to question the Bible?
Exactly. There's no way to get comfort in that moment when they trap you in their box of thought.
Yeah,
They want you to stay there. They don't want you to question it.
Yeah. So I do argue about the Christian faith because it's just, they get in their mindset that one way is the correct way to live, but then they bash everything else that could very well be teaching exactly what they're saying, just in a different way.
Yeah, and they're not the only religion that does that, unfortunately. But there are some that speak out in different forms from different religions, saying, "Hey, let's all try to listen to each other, evolve, get better, learn." There are some. It's just the voices. They need help. They need help to be heard above the din of the rest.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I'm not saying that all churches are like that. Like,
not by any means.
There was one church that I absolutely loved being part of, and it was like they had a great music program.
Oh, yes, I have noticed that.
And that's where a cult would get me, is like, rock and roll music.
Don't get a catchy tune. No, don't. Willow, don't let that out. Somebody's gonna get Willow. We're gonna have a Pied Piper, and we'll be like, where Willow go? Oh no!
I went through a Christian rock phase.
Oh my god, I did too. Oh, so a tractor trailer ran over my collection of over 25 Christian rock CDs, and I cried and cried and cried because I had spent so much money collecting those. So I feel that. I really do.
But yeah, like, music was my life growing up in foster care, because it was the thing that helped me keep my sanity.
Wait. So I just realized something. I'm connecting to the other podcast. When you were on still, Johnny admitted that he could get abducted if he got in a spaceship, and you just admitted that you would get abducted if they took music. So we've got a problem here. There's a pattern starting. We need to talk to the other members of the Back of the Cereal Box podcast network and see.
We all have our thing.
All of us. Mine would be fashion and clothes. I would be sunk. Someone's like, you want a whole new wardrobe with all the costumes that you could possibly. Yes. Where do we go? How do I get there?
The thing is, gone. Like,
I'm gone.
A cult would be easy for us to join, because we're all, many of us, especially us nerds, are looking for a place for us to belong. We're looking for acceptance.
Though. I really think that's everybody. I think that's why they all wear the same colors for their team, and we've got a multitude of people that follow the same meme. Like those things. It's that comfort, like I was talking about. It's that warm fuzzy place. What is your warm fuzzy place? Mine is fashion. And clothes, costumes, things like that.
My husband has several things that he pays money into. We just what did we do this weekend? We went and saw a steam train roll into my city. Yeah, and then he ended up spending money at a train shop on more model trains.
Oh, he did just little mini trains. You look cute, by the way.
It's fun though. And the steam train, I went more so because it's a historic thing. Mm-hmm. It's coming back to Canada. It was a train that was built here.
I like painting the miniatures.
Yeah.
Oh my god! I started with the D&D miniatures, the pewter miniatures that are like this big. Like I'm like this, like with a toothpick, trying to make texture on a cape so it looked like fur. I was so excited when I was done, and I took it back, and I'm like, look what I did. And they're like, yup. And I was like, no, look what I did.
That's another thing. Like Warhammer has, and D&D has their own. D&D is a huge thing, which we'll have to definitely revisit this discussion maybe later, maybe the next episode. But D&D has their own cult.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh,
definitely.
definitely.
I mean, look how angry.
Don't go against some of the lore in Warhammer.
Well,
oh my goodness.
Look how it spawned like the whole thing in the 80s or the late 70s, early 80s. Satanic Panic.
Yep. They were so scared for everything. Yep, you weren't allowed to play it. It was a demonic game. Yeah, I heard about that from my my ex-husband's family. It was they didn't want them to play because there was dice and there were demons and summonings and gods, and I'm like, it's a game.
Yep.
It's just a game. I mean, they had a whole show about how it could not be just a game with the Demigorgon. Like, I didn't watch the Stranger Things.
But there was, like, I looked it up, but the Stranger Things is based on different things that happened throughout the 80s.
Yes. Yes, and creatures very similar, ripped right from the pages of D&D lore at times. So yes. And my father was the one who introduced me to D&D. I did not know what D&D was. And so I was the first girl in the family that was like, ooh, what's this? I didn't get to play. I had very small group, and my parents were very careful to not let me go to boys' houses without knowing the boys. I didn't have a lot of male friends when I was little. Yep. So I didn't get to play D&D until much later, but I learned as a young geek girl that the D&D community in Tennessee was very cult-like because it was mostly male and there was not a lot of females, and it was really hard to kind of break in there. It was for a shy girl especially, you had to be voracious. So the nerd community, I think you should do another episode on just the geek culture itself and the cult-like followings that they have. We got little rage monkeys all over the internet that are like, you can't do that. And I'm like, it's a thought realm.
Yeah.
Not allowed, right?
I mean, I've heard people talk about Vampire the Gathering. Ooh. And how popular Masquerade. That was.
Oh my god, I played Vampire the Masquerade. Dressing up in costume was exhilarating, but if you could get a group, if you were allowed in that group. Yep, you had to buy into White Wolf too. I was a member of the White Wolf community. You had to be an official White Wolf member. You had to pay. You had to have a card. Yeah. So the Dragon Con. You want to talk about the cult and Dragon Con and the cliques and stuff. Yeah, there's a whole rabbit hole we could go down.
Yeah.
Just the geek community. We can leave all of the sports fans and the churches. We can just leave all of that and just go down a different rabbit hole.
I feel we need a big group discussion to go down this rabbit hole. So I will find some people for the next episode to talk about this for sure. But Aubrey, thank you very much for joining us, and we can talk all night.
we can have some fun conversations. I don't know if anybody else would listen, but they might tune in for some of the funny parts.
Daniel McCullen apparently has a cousin that runs Warhammer, and he is the manager for all of Western Canada.
Holy crap! Yeah, that's him.
Yeah. Well, see, and that's just it. Like I've seen the players. Like these people will spend hours playing these games. and
much money.
Weekends, like there's weekends dedicated for these games.
I'm not gonna lie, my son-in-law, my new son-in-law, the father of my grandkids, prioritizes Warhammer tournaments over okay, most things, not everything. A lot of things. Borderlands? Yeah. No, but just dipping the toes there.
Well, during our sci-fi convention several years ago, my husband got into playing the Star Wars miniature game. He and one of our buddies that ran one of the gaming shops spent a weekend playing a giant Star Wars a giant game of the Star Wars miniature game, and like they made it into the newspaper and everything.
Ooh.
Even that, like just watching them play was amazing.
The amount of dedication it takes.
Oh yeah. Joe's back was sore for like a whole week after that because of like the leaning over and
all the intense gaming.
And I've asked him, I'm like, I ask him periodically, I'm like, would you consider doing that again? Like, would you run another game like that? And he's all, probably not. But I mean, if we talk to our friend, he probably might. But yeah, no, and I honestly like that was amazing for me to see. But I'm sure there are, like in the States, like going to these gaming conventions, there must be
all night. From morning till night, they're gaming. The most intense game that I joined, we started the D&D game at about 10:30, 11, and then we didn't stop till 3 in the morning the next morning.
Wow.
And that was just one game session. So it depends on how intense the gamers are. It really does, you know? Like I know some sports fans that they camp out the night before the game. Everything is the color of the team. They cook outside. They have a grill and they wait and then they watch the show, but they're not even in the stadium. They're outside. They're watching from their TVs as it goes inside the stadium because they can't get in. And then they enjoy afterwards too until like 2 in the morning. So, you know, what is their obsession? You know, is it your happy place?
I was going to actually touch on this. Risk is one of those games that you can definitely play like all night. Playing same thing with Axis and Allies. And I don't know if you've seen the show Undergrads. There's I highly recommend this cartoon. It's called Undergrads, and in that show, it's a group of friends. They're all nerds. They're in college, but some of them are at different colleges, but they get together. I don't know if it's a Canadian show. I think it might be, but
okay, I want to watch it though.
Kamikaze is is one of the references. But it is a great show. I love this. And they get together to play a weekend of Axis and Allies. And one of the guys, Nitz, is in love with one girl at his college, and he hasn't gotten the balls enough to ask her out yet. So he keeps like pining over her and like, you know, daydreaming and one of these days, you know, and he almost ruins the plans of playing this game. And their best friend's like, no, you have to play this game. This is important to me. But Yeah, that's the dedication of Risk and Axis and Allies that these games have. My husband loves Axis and Allies. He has all of them.
Okay, I'm gonna admit I never heard of it.
It's a war game. It's World War II.
Okay,
I think there's like
I've heard of Risk.
versions.
I've played Risk.
Yeah.
It's very intense. So if it's like Risk,
yeah,
okay,
yeah. I'm gonna get my butt kicked, but yes, I think Risk is similar to Axis and Allies, but
it's probably like Axis and Allies light.
Yeah, but like it's World War II. You have certain tokens that represents like infantry and the airplanes, and you have to spend money. It's a whole.
It reminds me of StarCraft.
Yeah, you can play as an ally or the Axis, and you have to figure out a way to take over all the countries and or stop the Axis from taking over.
Okay. Yeah, it's very in depth and intense because you've got to. It's very chess like it sounds.
Yeah, very strategic. It's very very much a game of strategizing. And so yeah, that has their own following, and if my husband goes to see his uncle and he plays these games, I guarantee he won't be home till like 3 a.m.
Yeah.
Or he'll sleep over.
Oh yeah, if a game went too intense and I was somewhere where I couldn't spend the night, my character had to leave the scene early and that, go into someone's back pocket or in someone's backpack, or if I was a vampire, they might even have to kill me and put me in torpor for the rest of the scene because it might take so long to finish the scene. So yeah, as a nerd, as a geek, as someone who has been a fan ever since I heard the word fan, I didn't even know honestly that it meant a fanatic of something.
Yeah.
But I mean that's the whole fandom, the whole thing. It's become an obsession, and I would say that there's more than one creator, director, producer that's been like, yeah, these fans are a cult.
Yep.
And you can see why. I mean, there's a lot of people that base their every day-to-day life on the communication and connection with this fandom.
Yeah. And I mean, conventions themselves can turn into cult-like behaviors too. Like people have their okay, so I'm gonna actually be running a convention next year. I'm one of the con chairs for our
congratulations for that.
The local sci-fi called KeyCon, and we like it's a little family. Every year it's like going to visit your family. It's a little family gathering, and
that's awesome.
I mean, it's not like a big convention, but we hold it at a hotel every year.
Mm-hmm.
And we block off a certain amount of rooms specifically to hang out, eat, drink, and party for the whole weekend. And then celebrate our love for sci-fi. And costumes.
Oh, right. Of course. That's I don't know about the smaller ones. I didn't get to go to a lot of smaller cons and get to know the people that ran them, but the few that I did go to that were smaller conventions where it's just one hotel. Mm-hmm. And that really does define a smaller convention nowadays, because most cons that have been running for 5, 10, whatever years, they get to be so big. It's more than one hotel. They can't. Yep. You gotta travel from one hotel to the other. Events are in different places, and those people are hardcore. They are. Yep. I have been going 8 years to Middle Tennessee Anime Convention, not counting the COVID years. because, you know, I yelled on them to my ticket like a maniac. They're like, you want your money back? I'm like, no, I want my ticket next year when you're open. You know? So I get it. I get it. Whether we're talking about a religion, whether we're talking about politics, sports, nerddom, you know, whatever, you know, it just depends on how obsessed you get with something and whether you let other people.
Nerds will spend their money on a lot of, like, okay, I don't want to say stupid stuff because, I mean, comic books. Oh my God. My husband just bought me a whole stack of Alpha Flight from a convention that, or not a convention, from a comic store that I couldn't go because I had a meeting for my convention.
Yay! Well, yay that both happened though.
So I have comic books to read for the week.
Oh boy. Yeah, it's obsession. We can become unhealthy. I mean, we know, you know, it can become a cult if we allow it to.
Mm-hmm.
It just depends on how much passion, effort, and lack of free thought that you allow people when they're talking about it, when they're living it, you know. And there's just some that are just too hardcore fans of the thing that they love, and they're unyielding.
I tried being part of a costuming group here in Winnipeg, but they wanted too much to. They took a lot of the rules, like the 501st, for their costumes. And it has to be a certain standard, it has to be this and that, and just like, I'm just here to have fun.
Yeah.
I don't make my costumes. I put shit together and I make a costume that way.
Right? No. You know, I'm the same way. Like my talents were for a sewing machine. I put a needle in my finger. You know, my talents for a glue gun is I have one that has battery operated, so no cord. Like I can't pleat and make dresses from scratch. I take things apart, I glue, I paint, I carve, I add things, you know. But you know, there are some amazing creators out there. If they're going to close the doors because I am an amateur and I may never get to their skill level, a little cult like. That's a little too unyielding, and you're crossing that line from it's a club to I rule here. Do you have any questions? Because that is not okay.
Yep. And I knew I was no longer welcome when they pulled me. I got pulled aside from one of the members and said, like I had to. One of the local television stations wanted to do an interview with me about the costumes and about costuming, and I had a couple days to put something together for this interview, and so I did an open invite to whoever can make it that day. And said, hey, meet us at the Forks. We're going to dress up in costume. We're going to do the interview with Global. And after the interview, the interview went fine. It's on my YouTube for those of you who I'll post up the link to it later. But the interview went fantastic. I had a great mix of costumers out. And we talked about what we were all interested in. I dressed up as the Cat in the Hat. Like this costume, I did not make it, but I bought it from a local costume shop, and I wore it for I wear it on occasion for different events, just to make kids happy, just to make people happy. And got pulled aside from one of the members from the costume club that we were in. And she's all, well, you should have contacted me because I'm the media person of the group. And I'm like, they contacted me. They wanted I contacted the group. I contacted the leader of the group and asked, "Hey, Global wants to do an interview with costumers. Do you have time?" And I got told, "No, we don't have time to do interviews." And I'm just like, "Okay, fine." So I went and rounded up some other misfits. And
yeah.
And this girl was just like, "No, you should have contacted me, and we could have put together a group for this interview." And I'm just like, "Yeah, no, I'm done. If this is how it's going to be, I'm done."
It's a very my way or the highway kind of thought process there.
Yeah. So I mean, like, I was hurt. I was hurt because this was a group that I literally helped create, but it's just everybody else that was a part of it just wanted to go a different route, and I, like Padme, you're going down a road that I cannot follow.
Exactly. It wasn't about everybody enjoying and talking about and participating in a costuming club. It was about certain people getting what they wanted. And that's not inclusion, and that's not including people.
No.
That's excluding people. You're not the only one. I have tried to contact and become, parts of organizations here in Tennessee. And certain people, especially in my experience, a few ladies, have closed ranks, and they really disclude people that they don't feel like deserve or have had enough experience or know enough, because it's not about enjoying it, it's about who they think deserves to be part of it.
Yeah. And I may not be the type of person that will join some cults, but there might be a cult out there that I will join because of the fact that they may actually be willing to be wanting people to join and be welcoming and actually have that attitude of we love our members and actually make you feel wanted and loved and accepted. But unfortunately, I don't think there actually is a cult out there like that is truly welcoming, rather than making people feel like Keisha said, like there's definitely a narcissistic personality with a lot of the leaders of these clubs and groups and cults. Where it's like the love bombing. They make you feel welcome, but then there's too many rules that you have to follow.
Mm-hmm. Yep, there's a restriction of thought. Yeah, it's a lousy way to have an organization if it's supposed to be welcoming.
Yeah.
So cults do better. Wait, no, wait, what? What just happened? I feel like it's a trap. Remember, it's still a trap. No matter how good it is, no matter how good the music is.
Sometimes if you great way to tell that something is a cult is if it's too good to be true. If something feels like it's too good to be true, it probably is.
It's like, oh, they say they love us all. Look, we're not allowed to eat on Wednesdays. A clue.
All right. We've been going for almost 2 hours. Thank you, Aubrey, for joining us tonight. And I love this. Is Willow going to read me bedtime stories tonight from Dark Uncle 77? And probably not, because I'm ready to go to bed myself.
I'm going to have a snack and watch some cartoons because I'm a glutton for punishment. We've got, speaking of gluttons for punishment, we've got gummy bears coming up.
Yes, I am excited for I
let
really...
your viewers know, we got gummy bears coming up on the network. If you guys want to join us, we're going to be talking about that cartoon. Me and Willow kicking Johnny out of here. It's going to be me and Willow talking to Dennis Posey about gummy bears. Gummy bears. I don't remember the song.
I can hear it in my head, but
it escapes me. The notes went away completely.
But Gummy Bears, I believe, was a Canadian show as well. But
one of my favorite cartoons when I was a kid. So when I heard we were doing that, I'm like, well, I haven't seen that in like 35, 40 years. I'm going to have to figure out where the heck to find it. I remember the song in the back of my head. I can see him bouncing in.
Yeah.
I'm like so excited to watch it again. And I'm like, wait, where do I find it? So I can't wait. I can't wait to watch that.
I'm super excited.
Yes, that's gonna be. I've been excited about that for a while. I have no idea what I'm gonna dress as, but I told myself I was gonna dress up again because gummy bears.
And if you are so inclined to, if you like this show tonight, which is very rare that we have a show that goes 2 hours, please feel free to donate to our Patreon, patreon.com/serialboxpodcast. And if you feel like we need new equipment for whatever reason, if our sound isn't the way you want it, if our backdrop isn't the way you think it should be, feel free. Yes. And for those of you who are hearing the audio, if for whatever reason you want to see us do live shows at a city near you, again, patreon.com/serialboxpodcast. We will go to a convention near you.
Yes. Canada or America.
Donate and get me to the States every so often. Get me out of Canada.
We want Willow. We want Willow. Bring us Willow. Come on, fans, you can do it. Bring us Willow.
I have never been on an airplane, so make this.
Hey, don't you want all the girls at the back of the cereal box together in one picture with cute little outfits on? Whatever we can do at that point to get her here.
My husband is chiming in the background. For those of you who may not have heard, apparently I was on an airplane. It was a couple days ago on Canada Day. We went and did a tour at the Aviation Museum, and there was an old Air Canada plane.
It counts.
Apparently it does. And I whacked my head on a very low. I'm
dead. No, you were, honey. You were.
So yeah, apparently they were very short when Air Canada first came out with airplanes.
Oh no. Oh boy.
But yes, okay, so I've never been in the air in an airplane. So yes, you guys can change all that by donating to patreon.com/serialboxpodcast. Tune in. Okay, so our next show will be on the 21st. And let's continue this momentum with cults. We definitely have to talk actual cults for the next time, instead of our experiences with, cult-like behavior. All right, you guys have a wonderful night. Aubrey, where can we find you on social media?
You can find me mostly in my home, Miss Kindred Ivy on Instagram. Do not hold me responsible for my social media. It is my fun place. I always try to encourage, and I love anybody that adds me that wants to think positive. If you don't, there's the door.
You You guys can follow me all over social media. I am the social media socialite. I am on TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. I posted so much this weekend about the train, the Empress. Please go watch those videos. Like subscribe to my channels and all that. And yeah, I will see you around the social media stuff. Have a great night.
You too. It's good to see you.
Yeah, thank you.